The end. Now, good night, sweetie.
Wait, Dad. Does that mean Fred is still there?
Who knows? That was the last time I saw him.
Don't you miss him?
I do, sometimes. But I don't worry about him, because I know that wherever he is, he's on his biggest adventure yet. Dear Fred, today I step into the lobby of your house for the last time. My daughter asked me to tell her about an adventure, and I came to think of you. Your house looks just like my mother and I left it years ago. After you'd gone, I was sure she was going to throw out all your stuff, but she just cleaned up. We made you a small memorial. For a while, I came here every day, just like I used to. Sometimes, I could even faintly hear your voice, calling from the observatory, asking me to get you this tool or that. I never told my mother about that day. I don't think she would have believed me. Can I believe it? After all these years. Uncle Fred, thanks to you, I have found an even greater adventure. Thank you. Love, your nephew.
And that, dear viewers, was a story about my uncle. Let's play a story about my uncle. The first time I played it, I noticed a comment in the previous episode 17, of, us being sent home. I came to the same conclusion after that after the hours of trials and tribulations leading up to that point, only to have Uncle Fred just send us home. It wasn't until I stumbled upon some, I guess you could say, stumbled upon some research, if that can even be a thing, about the implications of the story. And playing it again, I can definitely, knowing, those implications, the pieces fall into place. You might remember back way at the beginning, one of the very first inscriptions we found of the letters that we eventually learned and all that kind of stuff. Came across the first one we actually came across that we could. No, it would have been the second one. It was the second one, but the first one in the actual caves themselves rather than the village. And at the time, the only letters I think that we knew what was the GER to it. And I thought, well, maybe it spells danger, that kind of thing. In truth, with the letters that we have now, we can officially translate to being anger. Some of you might recognize immediately what that might allude to. And from what I've heard, or at least read, this game is sort of a quote-unquote love story to the 5 stages of grief. Anger, obviously, being one of them. And the whole story was basically, at the very beginning, obviously, we came into Uncle Fred's home looking for him as a child, even though our mother didn't want us to. And then the whole idea of the adventure, and then going off to find him, trying to find him. I can definitely picture a mother with a young child trying to explain death to them. And considering the kind of person that Uncle Fred sounds like he was, like a scientist or something like that, if indeed he was, I can see the mother trying to draw, what's the word? I guess a correlation, is that the right word? Correlation between his adventures and him going off on an adventure and never coming back. And the whole journey that we took through, the village, the caves, Starhaven, the ice cave, was the little boy going through the 5 stages of grief. Being started by the denial that he would never come back, kind of thing, or that he was dead, kind of thing. But it's just, I don't know if that's intended to be the meaning of it, but it just the explanation of it definitely seems to fit. I don't know if this is a legit story that one of the developers or somebody who came up with this story wanted to tell about their personal experiences or not, or if it's just a an idea that came to fruition. But yeah, it's just one thing I tried to. When I first found out about that, I was thinking, well, we saw anger written in the caves. I wonder if any of the other stages are literally spelled out for us. Pardon me, and any of the other caves, leading up to it. I can't remember exactly what the 5 are, but I know 4 of the steps, but I can't remember what the 5th one is. But I think it's denial, then anger. I know bargaining is one of them. I don't know where it comes in. And then there's acceptance, but I can't remember what the other one is. But yeah. What do we got? You know what? Yeah, let's... no, I think I'll save that for the extra videos, because now that we have completed the game officially. These are the 7 levels of the workshop, the very beginning. Then the sanctuary, where we first started off on the adventure, so to speak. Then the village, we obviously know that. The chasms was right after the village, where we found that giant monster. I think that wasn't that also where we found that message about anger? Then there was also that one-eyed monster that we had to navigate around, kind of thing. I wonder if that was part of the symbolism, I guess you could say. And there's Starhaven, then the Ice Cave, and then the Epilogue, what we just went through. And then there's the extras that unlocked at the end of it, time trials. I may take a quick jump in there before the end of this episode. But, and then also we've got the unlockables. I'll be going into those in their own bonus episode, if you will. Or maybe I'll just do all that stuff in the bonus episode. But yeah, the story was a bit more deep than it would have you believe at the very end when we finally find Uncle Fred. But yeah, it's kind of cool how something so simple, something that seems to be so anticlimactic or disappointing, I guess, maybe, can be really given a nice shove in the correct direction of, the meaning of the story and all that kind of stuff, just with that epilogue. And the obviously the he just said the word and I can't remember what it was. The not a monument, his picture on the table with the candles beside it. Wow. But yeah, so anyways, that has been Let's Play A Story About My Uncle. Next time I will take a quick dip into, well, I'll probably flip all of these on at the same time just so we can get a full feel of all of them at the same time, and I'll go into the time trials and see what those are all about, and I'll hopefully be able to demonstrate all of those unlockables as well. So yeah. Alright, so this is Intrepid83 signing off. Thank you all so very much for watching. Thank you for your support. And yeah, it definitely, aside from, the well, aside from what? Yeah, it's a really fun game. As frustrating as it can be sometimes, I get the feeling a lot of that was just basically just me being rusty from before, kind of thing. Like it's still a challenge to get a handle of the grappling and the momentum and all that kind of stuff, how to make it to work towards you. But I was starting to get it there at the end kind of thing, where I was basically being forced to be Spider-Man underneath those ice ledges or whatever. Or just going one to the next to the next to the next kind of thing. So, but yeah, I thought I was finally starting to get it there. Unfortunately, it was at the end, but yeah, still, it was a good challenge. The only frustrating thing for me was that I had to redo the ice cave again. That's why the episode 17 was a day late. It was just because I got through it to the epilogue or whatever. Thought I had been recording it, and alas, I was not. So, and at the very beginning of the epilogue here, that's where they put the checkpoint. So that if I want to continue, I just start off at the checkpoint in the house in the epilogue, and yeah, so basically I had to go all the way back to the beginning of the ice cave and fumble my way through numerous attempts through that falling cube puzzle or challenge, if you will, and then to finally get up to where I started recording episode 17 again. So yeah. In any case, this is Intrepid83 signing off. Thank you for watching. Thank you for your support. Stay tuned for a bonus episode showcasing the unlockables and maybe a bit of the time trial as well. And have a good one.